Jack Twist, Jack Nasty. Did I get it? Did I get the Michelle Williams?
That was kind of perfect.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no. I was gonna say, you could have been nominated for a supporting Oscar with that one. Was she nominated for this?
I don't think so. I know it won for director, screenplay, and score, and I know it was nominated for Best Picture, but I don't know if honestly couldn't tell you. I would hope that she was. She serves in this movie.
She did serve.
All of them. Everyone served in this film, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. The Dolly Partonification of Anne Hathaway in this movie. I
love
her wigs.
I was so here for it.
Her wigs are like Nicole Kidman wig territory. We are bordering on in this film. Her very last wig of like the bowl cut, the blonde like fringy bowl cut.
Love it.
The drama.
I love it.
The drama.
The drama.
But anyways, this is The Swamp. It's our podcast. My name is Dara, and as here I am always with I am here with my lovely co-host Emily, and The Swamp is an acronym.
Stands for some whack-ass movie podcasting.
And to end, it's our podcast August. We're covering a movie that I have a complicated relationship with, and I think we rarely disagree, and I was kind of shocked to hear that you really don't like this movie.
It's boring. I think this movie's boring. I'll flat out say it.
Emily, he goes in dry. How can it be boring? He bottoms on nothing but beans. Okay,
here's the thing. Is that the first 45 minutes of this movie, amazing, outstanding, I love it. I love to see these little gay cowboys, flirting the entire time, seeing, those tiny little instances of, is he into me, is he not? I don't know, what's going on? We have to go herd the sheep. And then after that, for the next hour and a half, I could not give less of a shit.
You don't want them with their beard wives and their beard families having emotional strife?
Nope.
No?
No. I'm bored.
Wow. Had you never seen this movie until we had watched it together for the first time?
Yes.
2 years ago?
Yeah, we watched it 2 years ago together, which was one of the precursors to this podcast, I think, because this was mid-COVID. We'd been watching movies virtually for a while, and then I think this was one of the first times we were okay, no one's been exposed, X, Y, and Z, let's sit there and let's get together and let's watch this movie. And we had a very big cheese board. I remember that. I remember we had a gorgeous cheese plate.
That's always any excuse I have to make a extravagant charcuterie board. I'm we're watching Brokeback Mountain. I need to go spend $300 on cheese and salami.
But, no, I had never seen it before then, and I think when I watched it, I thought that, I was oh, it's my first watch, maybe that's kind of why. It was okay, I don't have any very strong feelings about it, but, the second watch, it took me, 2 days to get through it, because I watched...
Really? This was your second time ever watching this movie? That's crazy to me.
So I watched, the first, hour, and then I got bored and tired, and then I watched, the last half of it, yesterday, or something like that. And, yeah, it is a haul to get through that last hour and a half. I'm not gonna lie. The only thing that kept me going was all the jump scares.
I was gonna ask this, I was gonna save this for later, but what's your biggest jump scare? Because there's so many. Dave Harbour is, I think it was this time, I think the first time I ever watched it, it was probably Linda Cardellini.
Yeah.
She's what? And then Kate Mara gives her a run for her money. But yeah, this definitely David Harbour jump scare that's a really valid choice. I still stand by the Linda Cardellini jump scare is my favorite moment of any movie. When she just shows up out of nowhere, it's so good.
I love it.
I love when she is on my TV screen for any reason.
I loved her performance in this too, because it wasn't anything really big, but she was still great, I thought.
She said, everyone you need to touch my feet right fucking now, Heath Ledger. And he said, okay, I guess.
All right, shit. Cool down. But tell me why you love this movie so much, because I don't get it. So, if I'm being honest.
I think I have a like a bit of a personal history with it, like not anything crazy deep or anything, but I do want to like start off by saying that I definitely, like, my opinions and my feelings towards this movie have changed and grown a lot with like me as a person, because I think I watched this movie for the first time when I was maybe 16, 17, it's definitely like later high school, and it was Christmas morning. It was Christmas morning, and I woke up at like 4 a.m. because, you know, when you get like the like pre-holiday like anxiety, like
Yes.
like in a good way, but it's still like, oh, I have this like this, it's a big day, like,
Yeah.
or whatever, and you get it as a kid, and when you're a little kid, you go and you run into your parents' room and you jump on the bed and you're like, Santa came, and you know, make them, you know, at 5 a.m. sit and, you know, make coffee while you open your presents, and obviously I was like 16, I'm not gonna do that shit, so I just like was in my bed and I was like, okay, I can't fall back to sleep, and like I know people are probably gonna be up, like, you know, generally on the earlier side, so like if I feel like if I fall back asleep, I'm gonna sleep in, and I'm like, I'll just stay awake. And so then I was like, well, I'll just like watch a movie. I'm like, so I'll just like watch a movie, and then by the time the movie's over, it'll be like time to like, you know, get up and get going with the Christmas day.
Yes.
And so I was just like,
spirits.
but I was like, well, what's just like something on my list, like something that I've been meaning to see. And I was like, okay, Brokeback Mountain. I definitely like illegally downloaded it from like 123movies.com, and I just watched it on my little iPhone 4 in my bed, and then I was just like emotionally devastated for the rest of the day because I
Ruined
had watched
Christmas.
because I had watched Brokeback Mountain for the first time ever at like 4 a.m. on Christmas morning. And so, and then I was just like, remember feeling like in a weird like mental state the rest of the day, because I'm like, wow, he like that, because the ending of that movie is so like, I cry almost every time I watch it. It's so like,
Did
it's
you
so
cry this
emotional.
time?
A little bit. I think I like got welled up. I was also pretty wine drunk, but like, you know, when he's smelling the shirt and he's holding the shirt and he's looking at the postcard, and I stand by that. I think this is one of my favorite movie scores ever. I think the music,
it is a beautiful score.
The music like carries when this movie's a little boring. I think the score like carries it for me.
Yeah.
But so then, like, moving forward in my life, I just had this thing where I was like, it's Christmas, I have to watch Brokeback Mountain. And probably for like 5 or 6 straight years, I was like, I think in recent years I've kind of let that go because I'm like, that it's too much, it's too much. But like, there was one Christmas where I was road tripping with Henry's family down to Florida, and we were in a Tesla, so we had to stop like every 2 hours to recharge the Tesla.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is the perfect opportunity for me to watch my Christmas Brokeback Mountain. And everyone was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I'm like, I'm in the backseat squished between 2 adult men, and I'm like crying, and they're like, can you chill it? Like, can you cool it with this? And I'm like, it's so emotional. I think maybe that's the last time I did it. But
that's so funny.
But I watched it like I tried to watch it every Christmas, or at least around Christmas every year for a really long time, just because like I had that weird association with it. But I definitely like it. It's a beautiful movie. It is, I think, one of the best acted movies by like a ensemble cast. Like every single person gives maybe the performance of a lifetime, almost. Like, and I think the story of this movie is so boring. Nothing happens.
Yeah,
and I don't care. But it's everyone's performance is so good that it makes me care.
Okay.
In my opinion. But yeah, like I said, I've definitely grown with it, and I've definitely grown apart from it. Probably in more so in recent years, just because the whole, like, taking a step back and looking at it, it's a movie made entirely by straight people.
Yeah.
It's, the director is a straight man. It was based off of a short story written by, I think she's a straight woman. She's married to a man, not to presume anyone's sexuality, but a woman who's married to a man wrote this short story, which then 2 other straight people adapted into a screenplay. So, like, this is, no queer people were involved in the making of this film, on or off screen.
Shows.
Like,
that's one thing. It really does show. This movie is like, and I understand for what year did it come out? Like 2005?
2005, yeah.
Like, I understand this being like a big thing for the time, especially because this was like a sort of like awards worthy movie and everything like that. And there definitely was not a lot of queer representation in mainstream media back then, but like, this is like, so not, like, good represent. It's so aggressive.
It's aggressive, and it's only, like, the sad, traumatic parts about, like, being a gay person or, a queer person. And the fact that it ends in a gay bashing is so, like, okay, it's a movie about both of their, like, deep emotional struggle coming to terms with, like, being repressed and gay and not knowing how to show their emotions. And then at the end, somebody gets fucking murdered because of it. Yeah. Like, great. Like, awesome.
That's that.
I feel very much more that side of it now in my life. I still think I have that, like, deep love for it as a good and beautiful movie. But being like, why could one good thing not have happened to them? Like, the good thing that happens to them is that they, like, find each other at the beginning. And that they have their nice little, we're gonna wrestle in the sheep fields. And, but, like, still, it's just...
And then it's entirely downhill for the rest of the movie. It just gets sadder and sadder and sadder for, like, the rest of, like, the, like, 2 hours.
Yeah, which I do think, like, contextually in 2005, it was probably doing something, but, like, not even, really.
Yeah, no.
Because especially today, and I don't know, it's also, like, it's straight people, and they're all white, and it's not really telling any type of story that is... Like, I don't know, queer people didn't tell this story. That's like if I wrote a fucking screenplay about what it's like to be a black teenager in America, and then they turned it into a movie. No, that doesn't fucking mean anything. Like what, like, even if it's something really well written, if you can be a great writer and you can be a great storyteller, but if you're telling something that's just so not any life you've lived or anything you've ever experienced, like, it doesn't fucking mean anything.
Exactly.
And I think we kind of chose this because there's definitely some, like, bubbling conversations about, like, should straight actors play queer characters? And, like, what, like, where's the line on that? Oh, I guess, as a recap, this is just a movie about two cowboys who fall in love and then have to go their separate ways, and they both get married to women and have families, but then they meet up once a year to go, quote-unquote, fishing, but which that means to butt fuck in the mountains. And no douching. Not a single douche was used in this whole film.
Absolutely not. That's asking too much.
And they're both really emotionally repressed about it because, toxic masculinity and internalized homophobia and all of that really great stuff. And then at the very end, one of them gets murdered for
being gay.
Outed, yeah. And then that's it. And it's really sad.
Yeah.
And that's Brokeback Mountain. But
I can't believe this is your Christmas movie.
Fuck Die Hard. I watch Brokeback Mountain on Christmas. There is snow. It does snow.
It does snow. That is true.
And they have, I think there's more of a Thanksgiving scene than any Christmas scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like we chose this because not to, like, redirect the conversation to all of the Don't Worry Darling drama and all the Harry Styles drama, but, like, I do love celebrity gossip and celebrity tea, and I feel like what kind of, you suggested this and I was like, ooh, yeah, this will be good, because Harry Styles recently made that comment about, like, all the sex in gay movies. There's two men just going at it, and I wanted to do something loving and tender, and I'm like, okay, bro, you're gonna play, like, a gay cop. Congratulations. Like, I just, it was a weird comment for him to make. And
I love him, but I'm kind of over him right now. Mind you, I'm seeing him, like, soon, but, like, at the same time, I'm like, enough.
My opinion, like, I'm definitely a fan, but I think, like, he's a really great musician, and he makes great music, and I think he should stick to what he is. I mean, granted, a lot of his upcoming films, they aren't out yet, I can't judge them yet, but I think he's kind of been blasted into this superstardom, and I'm like, he's probably not that good of an actor.
No.
I'm not expecting him to be great.
You've seen the clip, right?
Yeah.
Our life! Like, come on.
But yeah, I guess all of the Don't Worry Darling, like, tea and drama about Olivia Wilde, like, not being present or anything. So we'll have to see how all of that goes down. But I've been seeing a lot of really funny memes on Twitter of, like, Harry Styles when Olivia suggests they watch Brokeback Mountain, and it's just, like, some gif of somebody being revolted. Like,
yeah, no, I saw a lot of, what is it, tweets like, oh, Austin Butler already popped his champagne because he's winning the Oscar for Elvis.
Also, has he never seen the movie? They have a nice cuddle after.
Come on.
They do They do the
there is
aggressive
intimacy.
Sex. Yeah.
You can have aggressive
a nice
sex.
Cuddle.
Okay, you can have aggressive sex and like still like yeah.
It's
have you ever heard
aftercare, Harry?
Exactly. Like, come on now.
Also, I truly am like, that quote he's saying, I'm like, is your only reference of gay sex in film Brokeback Mountain? Because
like, literally.
There are plenty of other movies where sex between two men happens and it's not like aggressive or scary or like bad. Yeah, I'm like, I think you're just referring to one specific instance here.
Yeah.
And
yeah, and it was 2005 and it was a movie made by straight people. Come on, Harry.
Yeah.
Oh my
they
God.
really... I guess that sex scene, though, they really made them do a lot of takes for it.
Really?
Yeah, they're like, the two of you are really overthinking this. Like none of us will look. Like, we'll all turn away and not look, and the two of you need to just, like, stop overthinking it and just, like, really go for it. And I was just like, oh, God, I don't know about that.
Interesting. I was gonna say, and that's what they settled on?
Yikes. But, so as much as that, like, sex scene is a little, to be discussed, the kiss that almost broke Jake Gyllenhaal's nose, I stand by as one of the greatest movie kisses.
Oh, yeah.
So good. When he slams him against the wall, he actually almost broke Jake Gyllenhaal's nose. Like, they had to cut because he's like, I'm, like, getting a bloody nose. And they're like, yeah, I just nearly broke it. Because Heath Ledger smushed his face so hard.
Hell yeah.
And it was big.
I do love that kiss. I will give them that.
With Michelle Williams waiting in the rafters.
She's like lurking.
But I guess, so something that I had never known about this movie is that Heath Ledger and Michelle Williams were romantically involved during the filming of this, and they have a fucking kid.
Oh, yeah.
Heath Ledger's only child. Mm-hmm. I didn't know he had any kids, and I specifically did not know they were with Michelle Williams. Yeah. That's crazy. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I guess they were like romantically entangled while filming this, and so the directors were like, okay, like, if the two of you are gonna be, together, like, Michelle, you need to really get in character that, like, you're seeing your, like, husband, like, do
with another
gay
man
infidelity, right? So they would like make him and Jake Gyllenhaal like make out in front of her so that she could like get into the mindset, and she would always be like, you guys aren't doing it hard enough, you guys need to. And so I guess for that scene specifically, she was like, no, you need to kiss him harder, like you need to make out with him harder, like this is true love, this is the first time you're seeing him after years. And so that's when he went so hard he almost broke Jake Gyllenhaal's nose. So thank you, Michelle Williams, a real ally.
I was gonna say, she's doing God's work with that one. Oh my God, what a fucking queen. I adore Michelle Williams. That's so funny. You're not kissing your co-star hard enough.
Come on, babe, kiss him harder. Like, but I guess also Jake Gyllenhaal is their kid's godfather. So it's a Brokeback baby.
Oh, stop it.
Oh, so cute. Yeah, I guess they were really great friends, and that was one of the main reasons why Jake Gyllenhaal had like no problems being signed on, because they went through a lot of different actors like asking them to do this movie, and they were all like, no. Like, what I wrote it down originally was supposed to be
I'm assuming
Matt Damon.
I'm assuming that Heath Ledger had already been signed on.
Yeah. So I'm trying to find it. It was literally supposed to be like Matt Damon.
Oh my God. Ew.
And like their first choice. Oh, and Joaquin Phoenix. Matt Damon and Joaquin Phoenix were their first choices, and both of them were like, no. And so and then it went through like many more rounds of trying to find somebody, and then they sent the script to Heath Ledger, and he was like, they didn't even have to ask him to do it. He asked them to do it. He's like, this is like a beautiful story and I would love to do it. And then they signed him, and then he and Jake Gyllenhaal were already like good friends, and Jake Gyllenhaal was like, yeah, sure, whatever. And their issue was that they thought that both of them were not masculine enough. Like, they're like, yeah, both of you do seem a little fruity. Like, it really needs to be like you're a repressed, like, man. Uh-huh. And they were like, yeah, both of you are like, it's a little too. Which I'm like, I don't know. I think Heath Ledger's pretty. He plays the like really repressed, stoic cowboy thing very well.
Most definitely. I think he did a great job.
But yeah, they both signed on, and there was a lot of like backlash, obviously, after, because it's 2005. Gay marriage was not legalized.
No.
Like, it was still very, like, you know, stigmatized. And so when this movie came out, I guess a lot of backlash, and even like reporters at press conferences would say like this movie's nasty and I can't believe you guys did this. And there's a lot of really great clips of Heath Ledger like speaking back and being like, well, you don't have to see it then, like, please leave. And also like fuck you. And he was super into like not making jokes about it. Like, a lot of people, even like in a positive way, but like poking fun at it, and he's like, I'm not doing that shit. And he refused actually to present at the Oscars the following year. So this movie came out in 2005, was nominated for a bunch of Oscars in 2006, and won a handful. And so then in the 2007 Oscars, they wanted a bunch of them to come back and present. And the Oscars, you know, little banter script that they had given them had a bunch of like slightly insensitive jokes. And he was like, no, he's like, I'm not even going to come now. He's like, I'm not coming to the Oscars because like I'm not fucking making fun of this.
Hell yeah.
Like, stop being insensitive. Yeah. Rest in peace to an actual legend, Heath Ledger. Everything I ever hear about him, I just like, my heart grows softer about.
Literally.
When I was looking into this movie and I found out that him and Michelle Williams had a kid together, also, like, literally gun to my head, up until a few days ago, I would have told you that Heath Ledger was British. That he's
Australian, right?
Englishman. Yeah, he's from Australia. Not that that's like a huge difference or anything, but I really would have told you that he was from the United Kingdom.
Interesting.
I really thought that.
That's fair. I was gonna say, he's got an accent.
He does. Yeah, but he pulls off an accent like a motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in this movie. I'm like, you're from the South, sir.
Can we get into one of my favorite people to pop up in this movie? The darling, legend, iconic Queen of Genovia, Miss Annie Hathaway. She comes storming in on a fucking horse, and it is honestly one of my favorite entrances in a movie ever.
And her hat goes flying off, and she's so good in this. So did you know that she was in the middle of filming Princess Diaries 2 when they were casting this? And she on her lunch break ran over to the Brokeback casting and was fully in Princess of Genovia getup with a tiara and a dress, and she's like, sorry, I'm on my lunch break. And they were like, we need somebody who's gonna be like a little more like rough and tumble, like you're clearly. And she's like, no, like please look past this getup. I can play this role. And then they did end up casting her, but I just love the thought of her like as Mia Thermopolis strutting into the Brokeback Mountain casting and being like, wait, you don't understand. Which I wonder if that did inform their decision to kind of, you know, Dolly Partonify her a little bit, because I love in this, like, she's a glamorous Southern woman.
I love it. Oh my god. Their fucking 1975, like, household, too. Oh my god. I'm obsessed with her.
The bolo, the scene where they're all eating Thanksgiving and every single person is wearing, like, an ornate bolo tie. I love. It's like her and her, you know, Jake Gyllenhaal and their kid, but then also like her parents, and everybody has a fucking bolo tie on. I'm obsessed with it. I love also the way that this movie like subtly goes through, like, because it starts in the 60s, it ends in the 80s, and especially through Miss Annie Hathaway, we see like the fashion change, because like all of a sudden she's platinum blonde and has like the big Farrah Fawcett hair. Like, I'm obsessed.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, she is one of my favorites in this movie. Also, jump scares her boobs in this movie.
Oh my god. Okay, we see so much nudity. We see her titty pops out. We see Michelle Williams. We see soft cock from both.
What?
Yeah, with that one scene. Yes. I mean, you gotta pause and zoom in and like turn up the quality, but the scene where the two of them are naked and jump off of the they're cliff diving, they jump off of a cliff and they're both naked and you can see it flapping around. We see from both men, we see, and then there's also both naked scenes of Heath Ledger in the background is naked and doing some cowboy shit, and Jake Gyllenhaal's really trying not to look at him, and then another scene where Jake Gyllenhaal's by the river naked doing some cowboy shit. Like, there's a lot of really famous people who get naked in this movie.
Oh my god. Yeah, no. There's one sex scene in this entire movie, basically. But there's
there is not.
Oh, actually, that's such a lie. Sorry, one, like, gay sex scene. The only one that counts.
We see both, straight couples fucking.
Okay, yeah.
I think we get multiple sex scenes between Heath Ledger and Michelle Williams.
Oh yeah.
Because there's the one where he impregnates her the second time, and then there's the one where she's like, you can put it in my ass and pretend I'm a man, and he's like, no. We get both of those.
I forget that happens.
Emotionally...
I fully forget that scene happens.
We had two very, emotionally charged sex scenes there, and then when, in the car, where we see Miss Annie's left tit pop out.
It's my favorite character.
Great, by the way.
My favorite character.
Great for me.
Yeah, really.
Anne Hathaway's left boob.
Oh my god. So funny. But... yeah, no. I would also like to be naked in the wilderness. I'll tell you that much. It's that's what this movie gave to me, is I was sitting there and I was like, I want to be ass naked in the middle of the mountains.
This movie makes you want to go camping, because it does not make me want to go camping. This movie makes me want the opposite of camping. When they're out there, no. It's a no for me.
I didn't say I want to camp. I just said I want to be naked in the woods. It's very different.
I don't know, man. A bug bite?
Yeah.
Somewhere intimate is a no for me.
I want to be bathing by a stream. You know what I mean?
I don't know. That just sounds like parasites.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'd like to think that when they're so I do agree that the first, however many 20, 30 minutes of this movie is the best, because it's when we get the most nature shots, and that's to me one of the greatest parts of this film is the beautiful, it's the titular Brokeback Mountain. Yeah. It's stunning. But in the beginning, when they're doing their camping cowboy shit, and they're doing the little, will we, won't we kind of thing, sneaking little glances and all that. When their boss, Mr. Aaaah or whatever, he's up literally in a tree with fucking binoculars, looking down, spying on them, literally the gay police trying to catch them. And I'd like to think, though, that he was not a homophobe. He was not pissed that they were, diddling around. He was just pissed that they were not hurting those sheep. They were not doing the job. Yeah. They were too busy wrestling. They were too busy naked mud wrestling. Well, and they were not paying attention to the sheep.
I would also be upset.
Job.
I'm paying you for this. One dead sheep is the price you pay for gay sex.
Okay, can we talk about, though, so after they have their aggressive sex, their aggressive, drunk, dry, not good.
Jesus Christ, he didn't even try, he did not even try to spit into his hand. Come on now.
Yeah. It was a hardly any saliva made it from...
And that was it. I was bud, this isn't dip or anything like that. You're not spitting out your fucking tobacco.
Oh my god, when you use your dip as lube. Disgusting. But immediately after that scene, the very next scene we get is Heath Ledger finding a sheep that had been attacked by a coyote and was ripped open. It was busted open. And I guess, for every gay sex you have, one sheep has to die. But it was literally busted open. And I'm watching this movie with Henry, and he goes, that's Jake Gyllenhaal's asshole, if you know what I mean. And I was like, oh my god,
really,
you can't say that. But yes, okay, the allegory of they have drunk, dry mountain sex, and then a sheep's entire intestines get busted open. The visual metaphor was just a little too much.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot. I was gonna say, I just know, Heath went up to the mountains to tend the sheep that day, and Jake was just sitting in the river.
Hemorrhoids. They do not have preparation H.
No.
In the Wyoming mountains. When they send down for their beans and soup, can I get a little cream, if you know what I mean?
Ugh, don't you just hate it when you have to fuck your homie for warmth?
It doesn't count if it's outside. Outside gay sex doesn't count.
Oh, okay,
that's in Mother Nature.
It's like drunk cigs. It doesn't count.
Yeah. But that's like after, after they both go their ways and then they're doing their like yearly like quote unquote fishing trip. I love like fishing with Jack Twist as a metaphor for gay sex. Like, can we start using that as like, oh yeah, sorry, I just have to go fishing with Jack Twist.
It's like the whole like friend of Dorothy thing. Are you a friend of Dorothy? Do you fish with Jack Twist?
Oh my god.
Like, oh my god, come on. With a name like Jack Twist, like, yeah, of course everyone's gonna know, brother. Change your name.
That's a porn star name. Yeah, that's a porn star name.
Like, fully, it's so bad. I was gonna say, who is the motherfucker out there using Jack Twist as their fucking porn star name?
Drag name?
Oh, drag name, too.
Drag queen. Yeah, I'm a drag king, Jack Twist. I only do cowboy drag.
I love that. Oh my god. I was gonna say, my head shaved now. Should I just start doing... That'll be my my persona. I'm just Jack Twist.
You've got the cowboy hat. You've got the getup for it.
I've got the worm. Was it the cowboy jacket for the worms or with the worms? I don't know. We've definitely talked.
Even that's a little too fruity for even Jake Gyllenhaal. He would never go quite as far as to rock the worm jacket.
No,
he couldn't pull it off.
No, he'd just rather go by Jack Twist.
I always start these the same way. I say, back at it again with another chocolate or vanilla with my lovely mother. Or I say, oh, who could it be but my mom, Jen? I'm trying to think of something new, but I think those are two good, reliable entrances. Mm-hmm. Jen, if you want to introduce yourself sometime, if you're tired of me just introducing you.
No, I like your intros.
I'm glad to hear it. But this is Chocolate or Vanilla. It's our little interim podcast segment where my lovely mother, Jen, comes on in and hosts a little game. It's called Chocolate or Vanilla. She just says two things, and we all just say which one we like better. And it's a lovely little time. And is there a theme this week?
Yes, there is a theme. It is movies or TV shows that are named after places.
I like that.
Okay, because Brokeback Mountain. But,
yes,
I mean, arguably, Brokeback Mountain is named after how he got his back broke out on that mountain, if you know what I mean.
Oh, God.
But
I like that you speak this way to your mother.
Sorry.
Jen's blushing. Jen's like so red right now.
Sorry, it was a good joke. I had to tell it. But no, they filmed this movie in Alberta, Canada, and I think the scenery in this movie is some of the most beautiful
Gorgeous.
in all of film. Mm-hmm. So, all right. So I'm here for some location-based TV shows and movies.
Okay. So chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Vanilla.
Chocolate. Chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry?
Chocolate.
I'll stick with vanilla today.
Yeah, I'm going to go strawberry. Just
nice.
Kind of end of summer vibe. So, speaking of beautiful scenery, One Tree Hill or Twin Peaks?
Oh, Twin Peaks. Come on, Twin Peaks. I've never seen One Tree Hill, nor do I have the desire to, but yeah. Twin Peaks is like some of the most iconic. I watched it really late in life. I watched it only about a year ago, and I feel like when I was in like my early Tumblr, like high school, age, that was like the edgy cool thing to like be into Twin Peaks. Like Laura Palmer is an icon, like that kind of, and I was never a part of that, but then this past year I watched it and it's a very good show. So I'll go Twin Peaks.
Incredibly good show. Obviously I have to choose Twin Peaks, not just because I like it, but because my good friend and roommate Matthew Bacon would kill me if I chose anything else. That man is the biggest fan of Twin Peaks I've ever met.
For Halloween,
really?
He should be the log lady. He would be a really good log lady.
Stop. Him and I like to do duo costumes, so listen, if there's anyone you can think of for me and him.
You could be the log.
I could be a log, yeah.
You could be the log and he could be the log lady. That would be really iconic, actually.
I think we'll have to figure something out Twin Peaks-wise.
I hate to go against my boy Matt Bacon, but I have seen every minute of every episode of One Tree Hill, so I gotta go with One Tree Hill.
Speak your truth, Jen.
Sorry, Matt. Next one is Muppets Take Manhattan or Muppets Treasure Island.
Muppets Treasure Island.
Yeah.
A classic.
Yeah, it's Treasure Island.
Yeah, same Treasure Island for this week.
And I like that the two places we're pitting against each other are Manhattan and Treasure Island. Like, come on.
No contest.
Next one is Isle of Dogs or Gilligan's Island.
I've never seen Gilligan's Island. That's just like I was
it's
not
from the
born.
70s.
Yeah, I was not born in the 50s. So sorry, but I guess I'll say Isle of Dogs. But that movie, we're touching a lot this episode on like movies that are made about things by people who probably shouldn't have made them, and like Wes Anderson really had no right to make a movie about Japanese culture. I'll put that out there.
Yeah, and for that reason, I'm going to choose Gilligan's Island. I think I've maybe seen one episode of it, which is more than I've ever watched of Isle of Dogs, because I've just never seen it, so.
Well, I have seen many, many episodes of Gilligan's Island, and it is awesome. So I'm going to say Gilligan's Island. Next one is Philadelphia or Chicago. So the Tom Hanks, Denzel Washington, or the
it's
musical.
Like a movie where people sing and dance, or a movie where somebody dies of AIDS. Is that? That's really.
They're
like,
both named after cities.
Yeah, I know, but like one is very. I hate to put it like that, but I'm gonna pick Chicago. There's no singing in Philadelphia. Come on.
I love Chicago so much. Oh my god.
I knew you were gonna say that. I love Chicago so much too. So it's a no-brainer. Yeah. Have you've seen Chicago on stage, Em, right?
No, I haven't actually.
Really? I saw it in Boston. It was so good.
No, I would love to. I think that's one of those ones that is probably better on stage than like the screen adaptation.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to the day I do see it.
The one I saw, Toni Braxton played Roxy Hart.
Oh my god!
Amazing. Yeah.
Oh, love that.
Next one is the 2017 movie Detroit or the 2015 movie Brooklyn.
Oh, I feel like I really liked both of these movies, actually. We definitely saw both of these in our, like, Oscar quest. I don't know if Detroit got nominated for anything, but I think we saw it, like, preemptively because we, like, felt like it was going to get Oscar buzz. But I really remember that year that Brooklyn was nominated, that I really liked that one. And I was, like, kind of rooting for it. So I'll go for that one.
I haven't seen either of these. I'm coming out
They're
of
both good. They're both good.
Yeah.
Saoirse Ronan's in Brooklyn, so you can just pick that one.
Then I have to pick that one. Obviously, I adore that woman.
Yeah, I'll take Brooklyn. I think, Dara, I was thinking 2015 might have been our first year of the quest.
Yeah, that feels about right.
Yeah, but next one,
because that's the year that Spotlight won. Because I remember Birdman was the year before, and we watched the Oscars. And we said, "What the fuck is this? We need to see them all next year." And
Correct.
Then we saw them, and then Spotlight won. So yeah, that is true.
Yeah. And I think Brooklyn is one of those ones I probably wouldn't have seen if it wasn't on the quest. So, like, yeah. All right, next one is Florida Project or Manchester by the Sea.
Fuck Manchester by the Sea, and all my homies love the Florida Project, so I'm going for the Florida Project.
Easily the Florida Project.
Yeah, same, Florida Project. Next one is Rio or Madagascar.
Oh, I feel like I never really saw, like, or I have no memories of seeing Rio as a kid, but Madagascar definitely was one of those, like, owned it and the sequel on DVDs. The way I like to move it had a chokehold on society for that span of time. Wild.
Yeah, Madagascar is a staple, obviously, so Madagascar.
Yeah, I'll go Madagascar also. Next one is Shawshank Redemption or Green Mile.
Ooh, I like both of these. I think Shawshank Redemption is just a objectively better movie. Like, if I had to, like, rewatch one of them right now, like, the Green Mile's kind of a lot.
Green Mile is so much.
Shawshank has its ups and downs. The Green Mile is, like, it is just down.
I was gonna say, I go through, like, the full spectrum of emotions watching that movie, and only the bad ones, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, Shawshank for the sweep. Next one is Thor: The Dark World or Thor: Ragnarok.
I don't think I've seen any of the, like, origin story Thor movies, because I just don't really care to. But I did see Ragnarok because of Taika Waititi, and it was fine. It was good. We covered it a really long time ago on this podcast, and you were the guest on that episode. So if anyone wants to go back and listen to our Thor Ragnarok episode, we'd cover that one. So
that was the first chocolate or vanilla.
Wow, history being made on the swamp.
Yeah, no, I will also choose Ragnarok because I did not expect to enjoy it, and I enjoyed it a lot.
Same. I'm gonna go Ragnarok. Next one is 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, or Dallas Buyers Club.
Never seen Dallas Buyers Club.
Me either.
So I think I just have to pick 3 Billboards for that reason.
Yeah. Well, three Billboards is extremely problematic. It is, I think, one of Frances McDormand's better performances. So I'll go for 3 Billboards.
Yeah, I'll say the same since I haven't seen Dallas Buyers Club, but I think they're both pretty depressing movies.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
Just to lighten it up then, Camp Rock or Return to Neverland?
To Return to Neverland, like the animated sequel to Peter Pan?
Yeah, that you loved when you were little, right? You loved that one with Jane.
Jane? Why was I always really into the sequels? Little Mermaid 2?
The Cinderella sequel.
Cinderella sequel about the sisters? Yeah. Why was I always more into the sequels? That's so weird.
We were just a sequel family.
We'll get into that next month, because we're doing sequels. Sequel September. Tune in.
I know, we've been really blasting. We usually kind of keep our cards close to our chest, not that anyone fucking cares, but I think literally like 3 months ago, I was like, keep your eye out for September, because we're doing sequels. Like, I feel like we planned this so long ago, and I've just been like telling everyone.
I think we're all just really excited, because I mean, we do have a great lineup.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I'll pick Return to Neverland. Sure.
It was Return to Neverland, and what was the other one?
Camp Rock.
I as much as I remember watching those movies a lot, I also hated Camp Rock a lot, and I don't remember anything at all about Return to Neverland, but I will choose it because I don't want to choose Camp Rock.
I'll go Return to Neverland also. Okay, the next one is 3 Olsen twin classics. 1999's Passport to Paris, 2002 When in Rome, 2004 New York Minute, all starring Mary-Kate and Ashley.
Yeah, as soon as you said that, I was like, the Paris one is the one I remember the most, so I'll pick the Paris one. But I feel like the most iconic one was It Takes Two, but that's not named after a place.
I don't know any of these movies. Can you?
You weren't an Olsen twin bitch growing up?
No.
Oh, I was for sure.
What were my options? There was a Paris one. There was what else?
A Rome one and a New York
Manhattan.
one.
I'll go for Rome, just because it sounds fun. I don't know.
I'll go for Rome, because it was made in 2002, which is when Rye was born. So, next one is Downton Abbey or Bridgerton.
Ooh.
I've never seen Downton Abbey, and I had like sort of a, desire to at one point, and now everyone's like, oh, it's just so slow, you'll never be able to get into it. And I'm like kind of a fast-paced show kind of bitch, so, but Bridgerton gets you on your toes right away, so I'll pick Bridgerton.
Yeah. As much as I feel like Downton Abbey, which I watched like vicariously through my mother, it's like I was like there when she was watching it, but I was never actually watching it. I feel like it prepared me for Bridgerton. And like you said, it's so quick. Even though the second season sucked. Hot take.
I did not even get through the second season.
Boring.
2 episodes and I couldn't do it. I haven't even finished it.
Yeah, no.
Same. I just like that they played croquet.
Yeah. What else what more can I ask?
It was like horny croquet, and I was like, okay.
All right, fair enough.
I never watched the Downton Abbey like TV shows, but I watched both the movies, so I'm going to say Downton Abbey.
Okay.
Last one is the original 1939 Wizard of Oz or the 2013 Oz the Great and Powerful, starring James Franco.
I did not even know that was a real movie that existed until, like, a really long time after it came out.
Oh, I feel like we saw it. We didn't see it.
What's another really good sequel is the Wizard of Oz sequel where she goes, it's Return to Oz, and they've got those people on the weird roller skate stilts. That movie's wild.
Roller skate
Return to Oz?
Yeah, I don't remember that one.
But I'll go the OG, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
You didn't even pick, like, The Wiz. Well, I guess that one's not named after a place. There's so many better Wizard of Oz, like, sequel or adaptations than
I know. There's the
James
Wiz.
Franco one.
Yeah, I know. That was it for location-based chocolate or vanilla.
Stunning. I can't believe you didn't do the Cheetah Girls ones where they go to Barcelona.
Oh, I should have.
I don't know if those were, I think it was just called Cheetah Girls 2.
Yeah. But the locations were...
Those movies were iconic. And I think the third one, they go to India, but Raven Simonier dropped out, so there were only the 3 of them, and it was way low budget.
Yeah. I think that a lot of times a location can almost be like a character in a movie. You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely. That's exactly what this movie is, yeah.
Yeah, agreed. So, not that all of these fall into that category.
I would like to think that the Treasure Island was really the key all along. It wasn't any of the Muppets. But as always, Jen, thank you. That was lovely. And
thank you.
Maybe we'll put these on our Instagram so y'all can vote. You know, it's up for debate.
All right. I love you guys. Have an awesome week.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye.
I will say this movie does, like, reignite my love for cowboy fashion. I love that, like, you know, in recent
I want Anne Hathaway's outfit so bad.
Just, like, the shirts that have those, like, collars with the designs up at the top and, like, the little fringe. Yeah. So good. Yeah, Anne Hathaway specifically in this movie is serving cunt.
Oh, yeah.
She's serving
Michelle Williams is doing the opposite.
She's just trying her best.
She's got 2 girls to raise. And an absent husband.
She's just trying her best.
Yeah. Oh my god.
She's so cute in this, though. That very first scene where they're sledding, I'm like, she's just a little cute.
That is cute.
I also want to just hold her and, you know, make her feel appreciated.
That's fair. She needs it.
She is. That's another thing about this movie being, like, fully written and made by straight people. Is like that the beard wife is the tragic character, right? Like you know, I guess a little less so with Anne Hathaway because she's kind of just, like, a little blasé about the whole thing. Like, she's just kind of there as just, like,
she knows.
Like a foil or whatever. Yeah. But like, you know, Michelle Williams is supposed to be, I'm sorry, her name is Alma. We should use character names. But I think Alma is, like, ultimately one of the characters that we're really supposed to feel bad for. And, like, obviously, yeah, we do feel bad for her. But I'm like, out of this whole movie where they're, like, there's actually a gay bashing, but, like, the character I'm really supposed to sympathize the most with is, like, the straight wife.
Yeah, of course. See...
Which, like, in the context of this story is, but I'm like, yeah, of course a bunch of straight people who wrote this movie are like, oh, but don't you feel horrible for the wife?
No, I don't. See, to me and for me, Anne Hathaway has her own girlfriend, and they're just each other's beards. Like, that's the narrative that I want, in this movie. Like, because the way she walks up to Jake Gyllenhaal in this movie, and she's like, so are you gonna buy me a drink or what?
Yeah. I love.
Jesus. Girl, Miss Thing, who are you topping later? It better not be Jake.
Well, actually, in the car, she is on top.
Yeah.
She's like, wait. She's like, her brows off. She's like, am I going too fast? And he's like,
oh my god, no. I love her in this. Because, like, obviously, like, her character, like, knows.
Or, like, yeah, it's like, strongly implied that she is aware of, you know, especially in that final scene where she kind of is talking to him on the phone as being, like, very curt with him.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, I changed my jump scare because I had a new jump scare this watch around. Anna Faris.
What?
David Harbour's wife.
Shut the fuck up.
David Harbour's
That's not
Henry
Anna
goes,
Faris.
That's it. Yes, it is.
Are you
Henry's
serious?
like, that's not what. Yeah, Henry's like, that looks like that lady from the Scream movies. And I was like, Anna Faris? That's not her. And then I looked it up. That's fully Anna Faris.
Holy shit. I didn't even clock that.
Right, that was my jump scare this time around. It usually, you know, it's usually Linda Cardellini, but this time, wild.
That's amazing. Oh my god.
But I do love that scene where they're, like, at the fucking square dancing club, and Anne Hathaway's like, husbands never want to dance with their wives anymore. And then he just turns around and he's like, Anna Faris, come fucking dance with me then.
Yeah,
Anne Hathaway, you dumb bitch.
Fuck off, Annie.
But I love the whole implication that, like, when two guys go fishing, it's never just them fishing. Because then when David Harbour's like, hey, let's go fishing, wink, wink. Is that what all, like, when two men go fishing, Am I out of the loop here?
That's what I'm having. I have to assume at this point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Going fishing. Yeah, sure. Whatever you say, bud.
It's like when two girls go thrifting.
The gay implications.
Let's go get a coffee and go thrifting, if you know what I mean.
If you know what I mean.
That's euphemism for
let me finger you in the back of my car.
In the back of my Subaru.
Let me put the seats down. How many sheep did they use? That's my question.
How many sheep were harmed on the set? They didn't do one of those preface, no sheep were harmed in the making of this film, so I have to assume that they actually busted that sheep open.
Yeah.
So many. I always do wonder about animal actors, you know? Like horses. Oh my god. So horses specifically. So I always wonder about like, because riding a horse is not easy.
No. I've been thrown off a horse before, like.
Yeah, you broke your tailbone, right?
That didn't happen.
Oh.
No, I definitely busted my shit, but I did not break my tailbone, no.
I feel like I just assume anyone who falls off of a horse breaks their tailbone.
That's fair. That's a good assumption. No, I was all right.
Like, riding a horse really, I feel like it's that kind of thing that you watch people do it and you're like, that can't be that hard. And then you do it and you're like, you need so much like core strength and like to be gripping your thighs and shit.
It is a lot.
And so when in movies where like a ton of people are just fucking riding horses, I'm like, damn, you all probably had to learn how to do this. And so I guess Heath Ledger had like worked a lot on farms in Australia as like a young boy, so he like was pretty familiar with it and he did not have to go through the extensive training, but they set up like quote unquote cowboy camp for them to all learn like how to, and they're like, yeah, Heath, you don't have to come to these like pre-scheduled cowboy camp meetings because like you're good, but they said that Jake Gyllenhaal needed a little roughening up. They're like, he needs to learn how to ride a horse and not look like an actor riding a horse, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They're like, you need to,
I
think Anne Hathaway too had to learn.
I could see that from Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, Jake Gyllenhaal does not look natural in doing the physical labors.
No.
But yeah, horse actors and sheep actors. I'm always so intrigued by people who, like, that's probably their job, is to be, like, animal handlers for movie sets.
Who is the bear handler? That's my question.
Do you think that was a real bear? Do you think they CG'd it? It's 2005. They totally didn't CG it.
It's 2005. I don't think so. I think that's, like, fully a bear.
Yeah, like, whose job is it in movies to be, yeah, I'm the guy who owns the bear. And you call me when you need a bear in your movies. I bet that guy makes bank. Do you think there's just one for like, you know, niche animals and stuff like bears? How many actor bears are there? What is his name? Credit him. I want to know. But that's like always.
Tell me about that bear.
I always thought about it in Game of Thrones when they'd be having the big battle scenes and horses would be like falling and shit. I'm like, do horse actors know how to like fall on cue?
I think they do. Most definitely.
Are horses smart? They must be.
Horses are very smart, from what I know.
Horses...
Which is not a lot, but I think they're very smart.
Horses are scary. Scary.
You've ridden a horse, I'm assuming.
No!
Never?
Never! I would never get near a horse. That shit's terrifying. No! I feel like I've probably ridden a pony, like, as a kid at the fucking petting zoo, but no, not a horse. God.
Huh.
What do I look like?
Would you ever?
No! I wouldn't. No, if you couldn't pay me enough money to touch a horse. Terrifying. You get close to them. Sometimes, like, you know, when you're like apple picking or some shit and they have a horse and you can kind of like get near it, you never think about how big they are until you're next to one. Cows too. Cows are the same way. You get near a cow and you're like, holy fuck. Yeah, I think about
cows are so docile though.
Getting kicked in the head by a horse though. Every time I see a horse, I just imagine, I'm like, you're gonna kick me right now, aren't you? That's how I feel.
You sound like you have horse trauma.
I don't. I just don't like them. I just don't like them.
That's fair.
And, like, people who love horses, that's kind of a red flag. Like, I don't know.
That is, yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just not outdoorsy enough, though. No offense to you if you're a horse person.
I haven't been on one since I got thrown off, so...
You have horse trauma.
I do have horse trauma. Yeah, no, it was a lot. Do we wanna... get into our regularly scheduled programming? I love your fringe.
Thanks. Yeah. So, I feel like it's tough. Because they're like, we have our two clear protagonists, right? And so, like, who do we just throw into the mix? But then also, like, you know, it's just, this is very complicated for a fuck, marry, kill situation. So do we want to just, like, just open it for the whole movie right out the bat, because I really feel like, what, we're gonna pick Jack Twist, Ennis Delmar, and like fucking, what, like Aaaah?
The mountain?
The mountain, yeah, right? The river.
Yeah, we can just open it up.
Yeah, because, I mean, I don't know, do you feel, I don't really feel like there's like...
Like, I think Aaaah is like definitely the one that has more screen time, I guess. In terms of like wives and everything like that, and just, supporting characters. Yeah, because I think we're both just gonna kill Aaaah.
No!
I mean, maybe I'm wrong. You're not gonna kill Aaaah?
Okay, out of the three of them, no, I'm gonna marry Aaaah, because she deserves somebody who's gonna love her back. And she just seems like she's just trying her best. Like, she just needs a little bit of support. So I'm gonna marry Aaaah. Okay. I'm probably gonna fuck... Because there's a lot of debate about, like, labels in this movie, and it's like, are they both explicitly gay? Are they both bisexual? Are they whatever? And you can, like, read into it, and I think everybody has their different opinions. So I think ultimately if you're like, well, let's just, like, forego labels and just assume that they're, like... Yeah. I think it's, like, less about, like, what gender of person they're attracted to, and more just, like, specifically for Ennis, that he has never felt, like, emotionally connected or vulnerable with another person other than Jack. Yes. And, like, I do believe that he loves Aaaah. Like, he loves her, and he, like, it's not entirely not there, but it's just more, like, not the same sort of emotional thing that's going on. So I think there's a lot of people who are like, no, they're not both gay, they're both bi, clearly. Or like, I don't know, or like, oh, he's label-less, but Jake Gyllenhaal's character is clearly explicitly gay. Like, I don't know, reading it into it too much on that level is just like, doesn't really do anything for me. Yeah.
Like, what purpose does it serve, like, honestly?
But when... Just basing off of the sex scenes that they have with their respective wives, I feel like Jake Gyllenhaal is better at, like, he's gonna at least pretend. Whereas I feel like Ennis is, like, he's not much of an actor, Like, he's not gonna pretend to like it. He's like 5 pumps
and done.
Yeah, like, he's not gonna pretend to like it if he doesn't like it. Whereas I think at least Jake Gyllenhaal will give me a bit of a show. So I'll fuck Jake Gyllenhaal and I'll kill Ennis, R.I.P. But especially at the end of that movie, I'm like, damn, is he just gonna kill himself? Because, like, at the end of this movie is so sad.
I'm gonna fuck Aaaah because I don't like her enough as a person to marry her. But I think she does need some tender love and affection and someone who will put on a performance for her. And I can do that. For Aaaah, I can do that. I'm gonna kill Ennis. And he's too quiet. Which, like, don't get me wrong, I like my solitude and all that shit, but, like, give me something to work with. And then I'm gonna marry Jack Twist, and we're gonna be each other's beards, and, like, maybe every now and then when we get drunk, we can fuck. You know what I mean?
You can be Anne Hathaway's mistress, but also, like, it's like a throuple situation.
Stop.
Where, like, you're also the beard, but you're also the side hoe. Like...
Oh!
That sounds
I'd
ideal.
love that. That would actually, that would be my ideal situation. Fuck. Yeah. And then for the whole movie?
This is tough. I feel like, okay.
I'm gonna marry Linda Cardellini.
Yeah. That might just be the right choice, yeah.
Because as much as I feel bad for, like, Michelle Williams in this, like, she knows her husband is gay, and or not gay, queer, whatever, romantically involved with Mr. Jack Twist. And she's known for ages, you know what I mean? Linda Cardellini doesn't give off, like, she has even a slightest, like, the slightest clue.
Well, she's just not that deep entangled in it.
You broke my heart!
Yeah, I think they just, like, were going out to the bars and dancing, and then he ghosted her, and she felt some type of way about it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna marry her. I'm gonna be real sweet to Linda Cardellini. Honestly, fuck Dave Harbour in this. I don't know why, but he was doing something for me. I don't know. Right? You look, like, upset admitting that.
Yeah, it is. He's definitely one of those, like, celebrities that people are like, oh my god, I'm, like, embarrassed to admit this, but, like, the guy from Stranger Things, like, he's sexy. And I'm like, fuck you, he's just objectively hot. Like, don't be like, he's in his 50s and isn't, like, ripped. Like, no, he's just, like, an objectively hot man. I also love, in this movie, his little cowboy hat and his mustache.
I loved it. Yes. I loved it. He was slaying.
And the way he was so like, let's go fishing, wink, wink, if you know what I mean. Jack just was like, whoa, I'm way more used to the subtlety. I'm way more used to Ennis talking around in, you know, passive-aggressive metaphors. You're being a little too forward.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna kill, what is it, their boss?
Mr. Gary.
Yeah, that one. Let the boys fuck in the, in the wilderness, brother. Come on.
What's a few sheep, you know? What's a few lost sheep?
Come on, be real.
For love, what's a few lost sheep?
Exactly.
I'm gonna marry Anne Hathaway, because she's also got that shmoney, and we can, like, wear matching wigs, and, like, play dress up. We can play, like, cowgirl dress up, and just have that life. So
I love that for you guys.
I'm gonna marry Anne Hathaway. I'm gonna fuck... If you're gonna fuck David Harbour, I'll fuck Anna Faris, and we can all go on vacation together or something. I'll fuck Anna Faris, and then I'll kill... Yeah, I guess I'll also kill Mr. Gary, because he's, like, the only, like... Other than, like, toxic masculinity, he's, like, the only openly villainous character, I guess. So.
Exactly. Other than toxic masculinity. And what are you eating and drinking for this? I think the obvious
beans
choice is beans. I'm saying beans, like baked beans and a hot dog.
Okay. That's I tried to like swerve and curve this to make it a little bit more palatable because this movie does not make me want to eat baked beans. This movie, the opposite of yassification, the grossification of baked beans in this movie. But so I think recently on my TikTok, a lot of people have been making cowboy caviar, which is like dip, which has like beans and corn and little chopped up avocados. It's like, you know, kind of like a pico de gallo salsa situation, but cowboy caviar. So it's a bean-based dip and also cowboy. So you do a little cowboy caviar. And then I recently had one that was pretty good that had apples in it, which is like a little fruity. So you can make like a fruity cowboy caviar. That could work for a food. And then for a drink, this is like not very good or super related, but there is that one scene where they Ennis and Alma bring their daughters to the fireworks, and like these guys start talking shit, and then he like beats the shit out of them, and there's that like beautifully cinematic scene where all the fireworks are going off behind him while he's like being violent. That just really makes me want a rocket pop. You know, the like red, white, and blue, the rocket pops. And this summer, my go-to has been I make a cocktail and I put a popsicle in it, I usually go for like a lemon outshine bar, but you can make like a pretty low sugar cocktail, just like, you know, hard liquor of your choice, a little bit of seltzer water, maybe like some lime, but then you stick a popsicle in it. And so I think you do that with a rocket pop, but then you go hard on sucking down that rocket pop. You deep throat the rocket pop, you know, while watching Brokeback Mountain, and you dip it in your little cocktail and then you suck all the juice out of it.
Fuck yeah. I like that a lot. And what are you going to follow this up with?
So, you could obviously go in a direction of, like, let's watch a queer movie that's actually, like, good. Like, you know, made by...
I was going to say, I said Moonlight.
I also wrote Moonlight because I feel like this movie always reminds me that, like, for every 20 Brokeback Mountains, we get one Moonlight. Which is, like, kind of a fucking bummer. So I think you can't... My two were But I'm a Cheerleader and Moonlight to go watch either one of those to be like, let's watch a genuine, like, queer story told by queer people in a way that's not problematic. So I had that written down. But also, if you want to go a different way, I said Rango.
Hell yeah! I watched that movie for the first time, like, within the last, like, 4 months. Oh my god, I adore Rango so much.
So if you want a different cowboy experience, watch Rango.
Fuck yeah, I love that.
A cowboy movie that's not gonna make you want to kill yourself.
Yeah, fair, love that.
What about you?
And, I just said Moonlight.
Nice,
That's the only one I had. I was gonna say, there's just better gay yearning out there in cinema.
That movie also
is not as boring.
That's good good pacing. A thing in that movie that I love is the casting in that movie proves in Moonlight the you know, young, middle, and old casting of the same character proves that you can cast two people who don't look identical, but if they're good actors and can, like, embody the same, like, those three, you know, boys that they, or, you know, man for the oldest one, that they casted to be that character, objectively do not look alike. Yet it is one of the most believable young to old castings ever, just because they, like, embody that same person. I think a lot of movies fail in, they just try to cast people who look as much like each other as possible without, like, taking into account, like, the energy. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel that way about,
you're so right.
Biopic casting, too, all the time. It's like, if you just try to objectively who looks the most like Princess Diana, like, you're never gonna have a good Princess Diana movie. It's like, who can embody her? They don't have to look exactly like her. I don't know. Not Princess Diana specifically, but just any, you know, historical biopic figure. I'm pretty opinionated about that kind of casting
as you
choice.
should be.
But yeah, Moonlight, I'm always like, that's like my prime example of, like, brilliant casting.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're not talking about Moonlight. We're talking about Brokeback Mountain. Finishing off the episode. What are you going to give it out of 10? I'm going to give it a 7.
I'm going to give it a 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's fair. I think there's a time in my life where I might have said this was my favorite movie, or, like, one of my favorites, and I would have given it, like an 8 or 9. But I definitely, like, through just learning how to not be shitty, definitely lose a little respect, and every time I watch it, it's a little less, like, you know, but it still makes me cry. I still think it's beautiful. Just, like, you know,
it's still a good movie, but it's just not for me.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give it a 7.
Yeah.
And all 7 of those points just go to Heath Ledger's performance, honestly.
Of course.
Maybe a few from Michelle Williams, but
yeah.
And so that's wrapping up. It's our podcast, August. Thank you all so much for listening. And I meant to do this at the beginning of the episode, but I wanted to shout out so hard at Snapdragon_Night on Instagram, who drew the fucking cutest fan art of us.
God.
Literally, I was moved to tears. I sent a picture to Emily of myself crying, looking like that picture of Millie Bobby Brown in her audition for Stranger Things, where she's, like, literally giving it her all, like, sobbing. That's actually what I looked like. So I'll link it in the description below. I'll link their Instagram. They do all sorts of really cool, like, art. They're just a talented artist, so check out their
super fresh stuff.
Yeah, but this, like, this like actual fan art of us, which is just, like, just the nicest thing ever, and it made me so emotional.
Yeah.
But all of you are so great. Everyone who listens to this podcast is so spectacular, and we love and appreciate all of you, and especially those who come into our DMs just to say hi, or to give movie suggestions, theme suggestions, all of that good stuff. All of those links are also below. And as we've been hyping up for literally forever now, Sequel September is gonna come at you with some. You thought there were bangers for It's Our Podcast August? No, you have no clue what's about to hit you for Sequel September. So stay tuned for that, and as always, goodbye and good night.